You are now watching We Talkin Sports.
Hey, thanks for joining us here at We Talkin Sports. If you're following us on YouTube, make sure you hit that subscribe button. And we are streaming also on Facebook. You can also follow us on Twitter at We Talkin Sports 2, as well as on Instagram at We_Talkin_Sports. And also on TikTok, We Talkin Sports 6. So, DJ, man, there was a lot of stuff going on this week.
Big week.
It's just like we in the middle of a NBA playoff race.
Right.
Yet the NFL stole the headlines.
Right.
And probably, well, I won't say this is necessarily the biggest, but the first domino to fall was Aaron Rodgers re-signing with Green Bay at an average of $50 million per season, 4-year, $200 million extension. So I'm going to just say this about it, then you tell me what you got to say. And I want you all to understand, this is evidence that the salary cap means nothing. You're going to give Aaron Rodgers $50 million. They franchised Devontae Adams, so he's getting at least 20. So you're giving $70 million to two players, and you still got 51 other guys to play.
Yeah, so a lot of times they backdate that money, but if you ask me about the salary cap, I don't know. I definitely do agree with you. If a team wants to keep a player, they keep a player. Now, I think that's your bottom line assessment.
That's the bottom line. The teams use the salary cap when they don't want to play. When they don't want to pay a player, they say it's because of the salary cap, and they tell that to the fans, so the fans don't just be like, "Why you don't want to pay him? Why you don't want to pay him?" Because at the end of the day, if they want to pay you, they can pay you.
Here's the thing, though. I mean, really, Aaron Rodgers. To me, Aaron Rodgers' contract only makes more money for the next person in this contract. So
It does.
What do I always call it? I call it monopoly money. It's monopoly money. It's not like they're going to say, wow, you know something, now Aaron Rodgers' salary is $50 million a year. Let's scale that back and the next dude make $45 million a year. No, it's just going to keep going up. So
yeah, you just keep raising the bar. But when
I
you're
look
a
at
top
that
5
from
NFL player, you should get paid like that. When you're a top 5 NFL player, you should get paid like that.
So when I look at that from an on-the-field standpoint, though, I look at Green Bay as a team who is okay. So let's say this. Let's say with everybody looks at an overrated team as a team who always has expectations but never answers the bell. And if you really look at Green Bay, that's exactly what they are. That's exactly what Aaron Rodgers is. Now, to me, Aaron Rodgers and Mike McCarthy have a race to the finish line of who was it. But if you really look at the Green Bay Packers organization, they are a perennial playoff team, the end. Well, yeah. I'm sorry. They are a perennial playoff team with one Super Bowl win in the last 11 years.
They got 2 in the past 20, so, I mean, that's not that bad.
No, Favre was longer than 20 years ago.
25, whatever. Well, let's put it this way. Since I've been watching football, they've won 2 Super Bowls. The Browns haven't even been to a Super Bowl.
But I guess the point that I'm making is that the Green Bay Packers really are a mess. They have a head coach who, I don't like the way when he interviews, he says, wow, you know something, well, we're going to just give him time. We don't want to bother that man because he has an obligation to think for us. I'm sitting up here like, dude, how can you tell him what play to call on 3rd and 8 if you're saying that in front of us?
Well, look, that coach and quarterback relationship is an important one, and that's exactly the deterioration of that relationship between Russell Wilson and Pete Carroll is why Russell Wilson wound up getting traded to the Broncos. Now with that, if you look at that AFC West division, you got Patrick Mahomes, you got Russell Wilson, you got Justin Herbert, and you got Derek Carr. No, they don't have a slouch in that division.
So I am
They
so
don't have a
glad
slouch
that I
in
get an
that
opportunity
division.
to be the first. So first off, the dude in Seattle, in the Chargers, Justin Herbert is not great. So
No one said he's great, but he's good.
Let me just finish saying what I'm saying. So everybody is just now saying that this is like maybe the greatest division of quarterbacks in the history of football. No, sure, please. What's it Justin Herbert has done? Yeah, Justin Herbert looks like the dude. He looks like him, but that's it. The San Diego Chargers have underperformed for the last 2 years. Now, they probably didn't have any expectations
But let me
last
ask you
year,
this.
but they definitely did this year, and they underperformed. So Justin Herbert gets vaulted for whatever reason. I would rather have Derek Carr than him, actually, but just based on experience.
But listen, and again, I don't know. I'm not trying.
I'm getting to the
not
Russ
trying
part.
to put it in historical context like that.
But
I am saying it's not very often that you have two Super Bowl winning quarterbacks still in their prime in the same division, regardless of what San Diego's bringing to the table and what the Raiders are bringing to the table.
So let's now look at Russ. So now let's look at Russ going to Denver. Is Denver at Russ win Super Bowl after we've watched the last 2 years a team do that? The last 2 years, add Tom Brady, Super Bowl winner. You go to the Super Bowl for the Buccaneers. You have a good coach. You do the same thing with the Rams. Now, is Russ that? Tell me why.
Think he is.
Tell me why Russ and I don't know. Russ won a Super Bowl. So.
No, I think he is. I think Russ sees the field really well. I think he throws a great deep ball.
He throws a great deep ball.
His ability to scramble.
Who are their receivers?
His smart, his awareness. What they got? That Judy guy, and they got decent receivers. I know they had to give their tight end up as part of it. But look, we're gonna let them figure all of that out, man. We're gonna let them figure all of that out. It's just the division. It makes the AFC even more competitive, which kind of brings me up. You know what I'm saying? I was giving to you them not only in the order that those trades took place or that those transactions took place, but leading up to what happened yesterday. And what happened yesterday is the DA in Texas decided that they were not going to pursue criminal charges against Deshaun Watson.
I'm gonna let that one pass. Respectfully so.
Okay.
Press the button, I'm gonna let that one go.
Okay. I thought I was anticipating something,
You
but
know what? I'm gonna be like, you know what? It's better. I'll leave this one alone.
okay. But so what does that mean? What that means is teams that are interested in Deshaun Watson are willing to trade for him now. Yeah, he still has the 22 civil suits, and he spoke actually to the media yesterday, and he's taking a position that he's going to go to court on those 22 civil suits. And I think one of the things that he's looking for in an organization that he goes to is for someone to stand behind him on that and understand that this may not go away tomorrow, but when he says that he's innocent and he wants to go to court and have his day in court against his accusers, he wants an organization that's willing to stand behind him in that. It wouldn't surprise me if Jimmy Haslam would be willing to do that. He's in the past he's shown the ability to get behind the guy and show some faith. Just like we showed faith in him when he was going through his issues with Pilot Flying J. No, I'm just keeping it real. I'm just keeping it real. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And so I'm sure he understands how important it is sometimes to have somebody that just believes in you when everybody else is calling you names. So
that sounds like an open letter from the fans to Jimmy Haslam, but okay.
No. Actually, it's a credit to Jimmy Haslam. It's a credit to Jimmy Haslam that he don't just take people for what the media story is at the surface, and he gives people a chance. You know what I'm saying? So with that, you know how hyped I am that those charges aren't coming. So this is getting ready to move forward.
Right.
And I really think I think we're in a good position. And I think we're in such a good position with that. I've even started thinking of trade scenarios of proposals that we could make for Deshaun Watson.
Before you get into your trade proposals, or maybe you should get into your trade proposals first, but I do feel like I want to give my opinion on what happened on Friday. So here's my thing. Deshaun Watson is a better quarterback than Baker Mayfield. Deshaun Watson is a better quarterback probably than it's probably not many quarterbacks in the league that's better than Deshaun Watson. He's definitely top 10, maybe
probably top 5.
Probably top 5. I will say that. Okay, but here's the thing though. If you want him here's where the intersection is to me. You have a team that is ready to win right now. You have a quarterback who is not ready to win at least until next year. So, if you think that you're going to get a playoff run off of no Baker Mayfield, you get Deshaun Watson maybe week 7. You're probably not looking at playoffs in 2022. So you're looking at getting Deshaun Watson in 2023. Okay. Now, he doesn't come with a cheap price tag, and you're going to give up a lot to get him. And the only thing I'm just saying is, are you really willing to risk, because being a GM, are you really willing to risk that and get rid of your first overall pick? Because we know that the fans are going to say,
you risking your job.
Man, that was a terrible
If you stick with numbers,
move.
If you stick with 6, you risking your job because he's got to win games. You got to win games.
And that's the problem right there. The problem
and he's already divided your locker room.
No, you all have divided the locker room.
We're not in the locker room. We can't divide the locker room.
But what I'm saying, bro, is okay, but I'm going to go ahead and listen to your trade scenarios, though. I'm going to go ahead and listen to your trades.
Okay, so we do have something to compare it to, like comparing it to what Russell Wilson, or what Denver gave up for Russell Wilson. They gave up 2 number 1s, 2 number 2s, and it was like 3 players. And 2 of them were decent players, too.
Request that trade?
Huh?
Did he request that trade? Was that like a favor or just?
It was kind of like it was mutual.
Yes,
it was mutual.
Yes, it had to. He had to because he had a no trade clause, so he had to agree.
Well, he had to agree where he was going, but
so he had his choice, and he chose Denver.
So, it was rumored that the Texans were looking for 3 first-rounders, and either 3 second-rounders or 3 third-rounders or 3 young players. So, I have a proposal where I say we give the Texans our 3 first-round picks, and the young players we give them: Baker Mayfield, D'Ernest Johnson, because we just signed him to a tender, so we have his rights, and insert either one more young player or a 3rd-round pick. And I always say you gotta push your chips to the middle of the table if you want to win. If you have, and when I say he actually, you know what? I'm gonna throw something else in there too. I'm gonna throw a future 2nd-round pick in there too, because you know who else? You know why else I'm gonna do that?
Why?
Because I don't just want Deshaun Watson. I want Brandon Cooks up out of there too, because Brandon Cooks is trying to get out of Houston too. So just to recap, so we got 3 number 1s, a number 2, a number 3, Baker Mayfield, and D'Ernest Johnson for Deshaun Watson and Brandon Cooks. Bring it home, Andrew Berry. Let's make it happen.
So
I did all the work already. Bring it home.
I hear you. I pass. I mean,
You would pass.
I pass because number 1.
You would pass.
Yes, I would pass.
You don't want to win, do you?
I don't want to give up
win.
3 first round picks.
What do them picks mean? What them
Miles
picks? What do
Garrett.
them picks mean?
You never know.
Denzel Ward.
What?
They just
They
whatever
top five
they did
picks. You
to
think you're gonna get top
injustice.
5? You think you're gonna be drafting top 5 if you got Deshaun Watson? Do you really think that? Do you think you're gonna be getting? No, you're gonna be drafting in the 20s, in the mid to late 20s at the best.
Here's what I say. I wouldn't be disappointed, and I would be on board if that happened. Like, don't get me wrong. I do believe that Deshaun Watson would be a heck of a quarterback for the Browns. I do. I do think that.
Forget them draft picks, man. Quit falling in love with the idea of draft picks. Draft picks is like, it's just like, it's hope. It's dreaming. You don't even know what that draft pick represents as a player.
Right.
But you know who Deshaun Watson is.
But
and you know what this team needs to get him over the hump.
Here's
so
my
if you
thing,
know
though.
those two things, why wouldn't you just go move forward?
Here's
What's
my
the
thing,
hesitation?
Though. The hesitation is, excuse me. The hesitation is that there are other teams that have similar situations and similar things that they can probably offer him. And so, therefore, you're still bidding against other teams. But at the end of the day, you still have a quarterback that's sitting right here. So that when you don't complete that, then now you have to continue on with this same quarterback. So, like I said, if Andrew Berry pulled that off, and if you told me, if you called me and texted me, like you text me when Deshaun Watson's verdict came down, if you called me and texted me and said, dog, the Browns just got Deshaun Watson, and they gave that package that you just named.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I would say, woo, you rolling the dice, but I would be excited.
Chips to the middle of the table, baby.
If you got
Chips
Brandon
to the middle
Cooks
of the table.
back. Now, to me, Brandon Cooks is a faster Jarvis, so
Right,
you
and-
still need a
and
big
then
dude,
hopefully
but
you-
maybe DPT.
Look, if you
DPJ can
if
do
you
it
do
because
that, you can
Deshaun
keep Jarvis.
Watson.
You can keep Jarvis. If you pull a trigger on Deshaun Watson, you can keep Jarvis because Jarvis will stay in.
Here's the
Jarvis
thing.
will stay.
Okay, you don't know that, but
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, I do.
But here's the thing. I've watched, and I'm not doing a 360 because a 180 because I've always said that Deshaun Watson is cold. I've always said he's better than Baker. He is. Deshaun Watson took his college team to a prominent college team and then beat Alabama. First lost to him, came back and was the Michael Jordan of that game,
Right.
to where his coach said, hey, whoever get this dude is about to be Michael Jordan. And Deshaun Watson did that in his great duel against Russell Wilson. They lost the game, but it wasn't because of him. He just kept bringing them down and kept bringing them down and kept bringing them down. Shades to what he did at Clemson. So, and then he took his team to an AFC Championship game. So, I definitely would be excited if we had Deshaun Watson. But to me, I don't know if, and that's Deshaun Watson, the football player. But when it comes to Deshaun Watson, the public figure, I don't know if, I don't know, I would hate to subject our season to the opinion of Roger Goodell.
And I don't
it
think
would
he
be
gon-
better to be 1,000 miles away from that and say, Dak, that's what they got to deal with.
I think they've discussed all that already.
But
to be
at the
honest
end
with
of the day, I will say right here in the camera, Deshaun Watson is that dude. Like I hope he I don't know if I would pursue him, but I definitely think that Deshaun Watson is that dude.
Yeah, see, I think they've already settled all of that. What's going to be his punishment, and because a lot of that is depending on what his approach is. Now, if Deshaun Watson just cuts 21 checks to deal with these 21 civil suits, then yeah, Roger Goodell has to punish him accordingly. But if he goes in these 21 cases get dismissed, or these 21 cases and he goes to court and shows up and beats all of the cases, then, I'm not going to say Roger Goodell is not going to suspend him still or do something, but it's a whole different situation. It's a whole different situation. And honestly, I believe they talked through all of this stuff last week when they were at the combines. And
Between that and the owners meeting, huh?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, basically. So they already know what the punishment's going to be.
Is that legal?
No.
And then they allegedly
they could talk about.
I mean, I wasn't there, you know what I'm saying? But just seeing how the inner workings of the NFL are, it only makes sense to me. Just like I'm gonna tell you something else that only makes sense.
I definitely believe they met like that. I believe ESPN is in the meetings too. I definitely do believe they go in and say, okay, how are we going to change this story
I think
so
it's an owner's
that
thing.
Deshaun Watson can just go to Houston? I'm not even about to go into it, but the average person couldn't do what Deshaun Watson just did. And
Roger Goodell works for the owners. Roger Goodell. So, I mean, I know he's the bad guy, and he stands up and Roger Goodell suspended him for this. Roger Goodell did this. But at the end of the day, Roger Goodell works for the owners. So with that,
I feel like that deserves an allegedly too.
no,
Like,
that's not. That's fact. He works for the owners.
This,
Roger Goodell.
this is
as
what you
commissioner, he works
said.
for the owners.
This is what you said when it first happened, and this is what I'll say to what you said when it first happened. What Deshaun Watson did is publicly say, I do not want to play for the Houston Texans. The owner of the Houston Texans said, wait a minute. Now, I'm not going to go exactly me and your conversation, but wait a minute. You're not about to do that. So he sat out
you can
1
do this to
year.
me?
Right. He sat out 1 year. And so now, in the middle of March, when the league year is about to start, hey, how do we get this dude back into the league? How do we clean up his public image? How do we do this? How do we do that? You got suspended 1 year. Now you can go to the team of your choosing.
But I don't agree. I don't agree. That's the part that I was telling you I didn't agree with, in the sense that I think the last sticking point was that no trade clause, meaning like, I know you want to be on South Beach somewhere, but Miami doesn't really have anything to offer us. This team is offering us a package that we think is more attractive, so we would rather send you here versus there.
I think the no trade clause hurts the Browns. I don't know. You, for some reason, doesn't think it does, but I think
what I'm saying is he lost his leverage of that no trade clause because of his situation. That's what I think.
I mean, but does that even make sense, though, bro?
Yes.
Then why would they have a no trade clause in the beginning? That's exactly what the no trade clause
you got a no trade
is.
clause, but you also have 22 civil suits.
Oh, it's a strong arm.
I'm not saying from a leverage standpoint. Yeah, you got a no trade clause, but you got 22 civil suits too.
Okay. Well, that's a little.
We'll see.
That's a little more Law and Order episode 63 than I'm not that far into it.
So we're going to keep our eyes on that all this week, because to be honest with you, I think Deshaun Watson is going to have a new home by this week, by the middle of this week.
I'd say before the league year, before the 16th.
Yeah.
Huh?
Huh?
How you feel about Kaepernick? I saw some footage of him. He says he's in the best shape of his life.
That's to me, that story has been dead for like a couple of seasons already. He's not getting back in the league, and it is what it is. He got blackballed, and it's just like they done documentaries on it already. Yeah, we'll never see him in the league again. But like you were saying, the league year begins on the 16th. The legal tampering for free agents begins on the 14th. So that's all next week.
Which is Monday.
Yeah, so I believe Deshaun Watson will have a home by next week. And then that all leads up to the NFL draft itself, which is going to be on April 20th. But, so we talking quarterbacks, but a lot, there were other moves that were made this week in the NFL. Khalil Mack got traded to the Chargers.
That right there just shows me. I mean, I don't understand sports anymore. I don't understand sports anymore because if you look at the time, they gave John Gruden. Think about this. John Gruden ain't even there no more, but that's amazing. So at the time, they gave John Gruden 2 first-round picks, right?
Something
they gave
like that,
him 2 first-round picks because Chicago went all in. And that just blew up in Chicago's face. Chicago went overnight.
Chicago's under new management, though.
I know. Chicago went overnight coldest defense in the league. That dude, I think they played, whoever they played, they might have played Green Bay. Whoever they played a game like on Monday night after that trade. And that dude just wrecked.
Right.
And he just wrecked. And their defense looked amazing. And now, what was that, 2 years later? 3 years later when that trade happened? Has it even been 3 years?
It's probably about 3 years.
Gruden ain't there no more. He gone. I thought he was going to be a foundational piece for the Chicago Bears.
Well, he would if
a la
their-
Mike Singletary,
previous
a la Urlacher, a la Butkus. I thought he was just going to be that next dude in that line of Chicago Bears, and so
I think their previous management did too. It's that new management team they got, because everybody got fired after last year, and they came in and they was like, wait a minute, we giving him how much a year?
yeah.
Nah, let's go ahead and move him, because they didn't get much for him. They got like what, a second and a third round pick or something like that.
Which makes me think, why ain't one of my teams get him?
Right. But again, so before I forget, Bobby Wagner out there.
Oh, you know where I want him to go.
Bobby, I want him to come to the Browns.
Yeah.
Come on, Andrew Berry. Well, I know you probably own it already. You know what I'm saying? If you can get a reasonable deal for him,
Yeah,
he
he
could
it's
be a
very
difference-making
rare
linebacker
that it's
for
a
us.
dude
Right.
out there like that.
Right.
It is very
But you know what though?
that is like today's version of Ray Lewis out on the market. Cause that's the passion that he played with. That's the physicality that he played
Right.
with. And he
The
probably
smarts that he
faster
played
than
with.
the
smarts he played
smarts
with.
that he played with. That's like a Ray Lewis just right there out on the market for any team to get.
Right.
And I'm not gonna say in his prime, but he
He still can help you tremendously.
he's still the coldest middle linebacker in football. He might not be Superman like he was, but he's still the coldest middle linebacker in football right now out there for any team to grab.
Mm-hmm. But hey, but this is the thing though.
So don't even ask me who I want him to go to.
But check this out though. This is the thing. Like this next 24 hours, this next
Because
24
Dan Quinn did used to be his defensive coordinator. Oh, my bad, dog. Did I say that out loud?
this next 24 to 36 hours is going to be real interesting, because you got a lot of guys who are in situations with their teams where they may have been trying to renegotiate their contracts. And if they haven't been able to come up with a number, they're probably going to get cut here within the next 24 to 36 hours. It's some
Right.
big name. It's some big names out here. One of them's Amari Cooper, Dallas Cowboys wide receiver. He's been rumored to be a target of the Browns, whether it's trade or via free agency. But we'll see. Next 36 hours, that's probably going to work itself out in some shape or form. Another receiver that's rumored to be a trade target of the Browns
Okay.
is DK Metcalf.
Now that makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. You bring in DK Metcalf and you couple him with Jarvis. I think that makes you a good team. You don't think they get DK Metcalf and Deshaun? You ain't thinking that, or you are thinking that?
I am, because look, this is the only thing. You have to,
and Bobby Wagner, huh? Well, shit.
well, I'm not. I don't know about.
LA Rams,
look,
Midwest.
We have some defensive holes to fill, and how Andrew Berry's going to fill them, I don't know. But the only promise you got to make to Deshaun Watson on the offensive side is you'll get him a couple of receivers. Outside of that, you got the line, you got the running game. All you got to promise him is a couple of receivers. And again, to be honest with you, you don't even want to promise him rookie receivers. You want them to have veterans. Like, I'm not to say you couldn't use any of your later round draft capital on a receiver, but ideally, you want veteran receivers out there.
I tell you this: if I'm Andrew Berry, I'm calling Seattle. I'm just gauging.
I'm calling
interest.
Seattle. I'm calling Dallas, and
I don't think Amari Cooper
I'm
fits,
not even-
and
I'm
I
not
don't think
even-
Amari Cooper is leaving Dallas. I might
I
be
ain't
wrong.
even calling the Texans. I'm in Texas. We having lunch and we having dinner, and we about to hammer this out. That's how this is going down.
Right.
I'm not coming back to Cleveland until I have Deshaun Watson sitting next to me.
I tell you what, it's as close as it's ever been to in the so long that it's been. Hey, we can get Deshaun Watson. This is the closest that it's ever been. And another thing that you said is you don't hear the Browns because Andrew Berry is really sitting back in the cut. And that's been the case because you ain't hear Russell Wilson to the Broncos.
Right. Hey, you know what's funny though? But it has come. There are some nationally publicized stories about the Browns' interest in Deshaun Watson. But you know what's funny about them?
What?
They all quoting Mary Kay Cabot.
Right. Right.
And I told you, I think that happens a lot. It's not her fault that she's been covering the Browns so long that when she writes an article and she gives what's her opinion, nationally people take that as the gospel.
I'll tell you this.
She doesn't say that the Browns are doing it. She says, I think, or it would be a good idea. That's what she says. If you listen closely to what she's saying, that's what she says. And those stories just blow into things. And that's not her fault.
I tell you, if they did that, that would be cold. If they got Deshaun Watson, that would be cold. Because the thing about getting Deshaun Watson is, you got Deshaun Watson, like that's your quarterback from now on. You know what I'm saying?
And you got him under a reasonable contract. You got a top 5 quarterback that's on the books for like $34 million a year because of when he signed his contract.
Right. But not only that, you got a quarterback who is your quarterback. You know what I'm saying? Like you can always franchise him, whatever. Right. So yeah, if you have an opportunity to get him, yeah.
Don't not bring it like, hey, Andrew, do not get back on that jet if Deshaun Watson is not on there with you.
But the only problem is, okay, so what what you call me? Pessimistic. Okay. You call me pessimistic. All right. If you don't get him, you still have a good quarterback. That's what I'll leave it at.
Who?
You still got a good quarterback.
Who?
Baker Mayfield is a good quarterback, dog.
So look. We franchised David Njoku, which I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
Because I love what David Njoku brings to the table, and I love his potential.
Which is what?
Because
his potential. I thought you were saying two different things, but you're saying he brings to the table his potential. Yes.
Because he doesn't bring anything
to the table, dog.
And again, take this with a grain of salt, but there were reports that said David Njoku is now the best blocking tight end on the team. And like I said, whether he is or he isn't, the fact that he's improved his blocking like that, because that was his weak point.
So I drafted tight end first overall.
He wasn't first overall.
I mean, first round, the same year that I got Myles Garrett.
Because he was only 20 years old. He was 6'5",
and I'm glad
freak.
after year 5 that he's improved his blocking from year 4 to year 5. Oh, okay. Yep.
Or was he 19 when they drafted him? He was very young when they drafted him. He could have been 12
when he drafted him. He grown now.
If somebody could give him the ball, if somebody could give him the ball, he could put up numbers like Travis Kelce. If somebody would give him the ball.
That dude stinks. Hey, you know something? I can say whatever I want to say about him.
He led the Browns in touchdowns.
He's going to be on the team next year.
Touchdowns.
He going to be on the team.
Who is that on then?
He's going to be on the team next year. So whatever I say, he is going to be there. I can't
David
say
Njoku.
I don't. But you know something? I'm not gonna hate him because he'll be on the team. But to me, I don't even want to say there's bark because he don't bark except for the few times he catch a touchdown and he does all this and all that. To me, his name is Bust. I'm gonna leave it right there. I'm gonna leave it there.
Let me see who's throwing the ball. Because if we get Deshaun Watson, he gonna show you what David Njoku could do. So one more thing, real quick about what transpired this past week in the NFL. The Calvin Ridley suspension, banned for the entire season for gambling. And he went on Twitter and he was like, he was betting on games and he was betting on his own games, even though he at the time wasn't playing. He was away from the team because he was having mental health issues. But while he was away from the team, he put some bets on some games.
Here's all I'm gonna say, and I'm gonna leave this alone. This is the NFL's made-for-TV movie so that they can continue with gambling. The end. I'm not gonna say nothing else about it.
So you saying they just so basically he was brought out for a public beating. You know what I'm saying? They just they like hear ye, he has done this and just line him up.
Did Deshaun
and they want
Watson?
the whole city to come out so
Deshaun
they can just
Watson?
beat him.
Did Deshaun Watson?
Huh?
Did Deshaun Watson
What?
line up for a public beating?
No, Deshaun Watson hasn't been disciplined by the NFL.
Okay.
That's why I say he's lined up for a public. They're making an example out of him.
You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. To me,
no, because
if you look at the timeline,
at the
timeline,
so, I'm glad you went there. Hold on a second. I'm glad you went there because, but what you're saying is the total opposite of what the real is. The NFL suspended him for a year because they mess around with that's messing around with their bottom line.
He should be gone for good.
What he did
what did Pete Rose get? Oh, Pete Rose didn't do it because he did this or because Pete Rose was this because this. At the end of the day, you have a situation
what the big difference is? You know what the biggest difference was? The big difference in that situation is he wasn't even part of the team. In the sense that he was separated from the team.
And so the dates actually matched up. That they could even show you that the dates matched up. 31st, when he took a personal leave. Guess what? He made the bet on this day. Only thing I'm saying is
Do you know how they caught him? Do you know how he got caught? Because they have a system in place already where they have scans through the email addresses and they have and they trace it back to NFL. So they do this daily in terms of compare bets placed against the NFL and see who's making the bets to make sure that there's not NFL players making it. So as the NFL player, unless you have someone else make the bet for you, you're going to get caught.
Here's what I'm going to say, dog, and I'm just going to move on. The whole thing smells to me. The end.
I think he had a goofy moment. He did something stupid. He did something extremely stupid. Because if you listen to any other NFL player, they say it's posted all over the place. In your locker room, in the facilities. Just from the time you get in the NFL, they tell you cannot bet on NFL games. You cannot bet on NFL games. He was separated away from the team. He got a lot of money.
Are you saying that as if to say that he is one bad apple?
No, I'm saying he made a mistake. I'm saying he made it because again, if he did this on a regular basis,
so there
got caught. He's not a repeat offender. It was a lapse of judgment.
How many sports, including college, can you bet on? How many sports can you bet on? How many
he can bet on any other sport. He just
I'm
just
saying
NFL.
How many players in each other sport. So NFL probably has this many thousand people. This sport got this. So out of all these people that all these monies are gambling on that are integral to the part, you just got this one dude who just happened to say, hey, I'm going to take a personal day. So then, 2 weeks after he take a personal day.
He was away from the team for months.
Oh, he was
away from the team after like week 5, week 6.
What do they call that? They give you long-term, what is it called when you just need a help?
He was on the disabled list.
FMLA?
Okay, so he took his FMLA, and so part of his FMLA, he just said, well, shit, I'm just going to bet $1,500 on the parlay. I don't know, dog. To me, again, it smells. And what smells is, at the end of the day, now you can bet in NFL facilities. And to me, it just smells. That's all I'm going to say. It smells to me.
The only thing I'll say is I think they're making an example out of him because I think I don't think he should be suspended for a year other than the fact that they want to make an example out of him. They want to let they make an example out of other players to let them know, hey, look, you can lose a year's salary or more messing around betting on the NFL.
You should lose your career.
Well, I think it depends on the circumstances. What?
Circumstances like what?
People throwing games and stuff like that?
Well, like I said, I think it does matter the fact that he was away from the NFL, so he wasn't in the locker room. He wasn't playing, so it was no way he was going to fix the game. The one thing that you worry about is did he have insider information?
I think I would more worry about the fact that if he bet once, he probably bet before. I think that's what I would worry about.
But I just told you.
That's what I would worry about.
No, they're confident in the system that they have in place. Like I said.
But what I'm saying is the system that I would have in place is if it happens, period, there's zero tolerance, boom. And as somebody who, and I don't bet on games because I'm not really a gambler, but if I'm somebody who is in that thing, I would say, hey, you know something? I don't want nobody.
Hey, we talking sports. Who do you have on the line here?
Hey, this Vado. What's good, y'all? How y'all doing?
Hey,
Pittsburgh in the house.
What's good?
What's going on,
man. Hey, man, I need y'all Brownies to go get Deshaun Watson, man. Quit playing all them draft picks, all that money, man. Go get that, man.
Hey, I told Andrew Berry, jump on the jet and don't come back unless he on there with you.
That's exactly what I'm talking about, man. Right now, man, the AFC North is very competitive with 3 teams. I'm including Pittsburgh right now. We're on a quarterback, but you can tell me the 3 quarterbacks in the division, and my
We talking sports.
what's up? Hey, this Uncle Lou.
You gotta put. Hey, Uncle Lou, hold on one sec. We be right with you.
It's on. It's on.
1 second.
Can you conference on both of you?
Rollo, I think we lost you. No, don't put both on, man. That's how other dude hold. We big time now, bro. We gotta call. Wait, our line is.
He in the same house. We together.
Still
He in the same house.
Okay. So what's going on? So yeah, I'm with you
Man,
on that, man. The AFC man, quarterback play is very good in the AFC, and
right.
it's no way we can compete with Baker. I don't even think we got to go. I don't think we have to discuss that. So like I said, Andrew Berry needs to jump on that jet. He needs to head down to Houston and don't come back until you got Deshaun Watson sitting next to you.
My thought, this is Uncle Lou.
Okay.
My thought is that the Cleveland Browns are too prejudiced, and they're not going to let a black player be the quarterback and run that team.
But do you think it's
I'm
like
sorry
that
to
right
say it.
now in 2022, though, Uncle Lou?
I don't care what year it is. Watch. Remember what I said.
Okay.
That Deshaun will not be a Brown. He's gonna be somebody else. Gonna pick him up because the Browns is not gonna go with the best. Think about it. Every time they had a good opportunity to get a good from
RG3.
Dante Culpepper to
Right.
yes.
They didn't pass on Culpepper. You're right. They could have got Culpepper.
Who else was it? It was
Deshaun Watson.
No, they passed on him,
Yeah.
and they also passed on my boy. Who was my boy? Tell me my boy's name for the Eagles. That was playing for the Eagles.
Donovan
for
McNabb. You're right.
Texas.
McNabb back in the day.
Yes, they passed on him too.
We got
Come on, man,
we
they're
got
not
Couch
going to
instead
do
of
it.
McNabb. We got Couch.
Exactly.
Now you know what?
Either one.
I think times are different. Now we'll see, but I think times are different. I think Jimmy Haslam is on something different.
Ain't nothing different. Just like, that's what they're killing us all. They ain't nothing different. They still killing us and taking us out because they still they scared of us. But the Cleveland team. Now, there's other teams that out there that will mess with the man of color, but them will not because Cleveland is a prejudiced city, and I live here. I've
Here's
been
what I'm
raised
saying,
here,
Uncle Lou, and I'm not saying that I disagree with you, and I understand definitely where you're going, and thanks for the call. But I think that the Browns right now I don't think they would make a decision more based on who can play than the color of their skin. Now, I hear you, and I've seen it. As long as you have, I'm 56. I don't know how old Uncle Lou was, but I know that's
I'm
what it
60
is.
years old. I'm 60 years old.
Okay. All right, well, Uncle Lou, thanks for the call. We're going to go to this next line.
Yeah, we appreciate the call, man.
Hey, brother, this is Rod.
What's up, man? What
man,
you got for us?
They want to talk about how the Browns ain't president. They just the fact that they tried black folks. They tried some good quarterbacks. Quarterbacks that ain't running right. Right now, they need to go get Deshaun Watson. Flat out. Just go get the man.
So we got actually the third call. So you think that the Browns should get Deshaun Watson? How do you feel?
Yeah, why not? I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you this one time.
Right, and tell me your name again, bro. Tell me your name again.
Calm down. You giving up the mortgage for the moment for Deshaun Watson. You're giving up the mortgage for Deshaun Watson. Great.
Right.
You know what? You got Baker right now for the season. If he gets you to the Super Bowl, yay. It's cool, but he still can ship him on out of there.
Sherrod.
You know what I mean?
Sherrod. Did you hear my trade proposal?
No, I missed it, man, because my phone got cut off.
Okay, I'm gonna give it to you again. This is the trade proposal. I was up last night, so I was doing some of Andrew Berry's work for him. Okay.
I'm proud of you for that too.
Okay, so tell me what you think about this. I say that it's the Browns. We send the Houston Texans 3 first-round picks, a 2nd-round pick, a 3rd-round pick, Baker Mayfield, and Dearness Johnson for Deshaun Watson and Brandon Cooks.
I ain't taking that deal. You gotta give me. You got no. I'm telling you. You know what? I like that deal. You know what? I love exactly what you did. Not for Deshaun Watson. And you know what? They not gonna want that. You know what they want? They want Denzel Ward. You gotta give up Denzel Ward. You got to go.
No, I can't give up Denzel Ward.
You're not that.
No, he's untouchable.
Hey, if you want to go, look, I just watched the Bengals go to the Super Bowl with no corners and nothing but a front four. They had a defensive front four to stop the run. That's all they had.
You need a good corner though, Brad. Denzel.
But we giving them we taking a quarterback and a receiver, but we giving them a quarterback and a running back, and we giving them 3 number ones and a second round pick and a third round pick. So, you know what I'm saying?
You can eliminate someone.
We giving you 7 guys. We giving you 7 guys that should contribute on your team. Seven guys that should contribute.
You're giving me prospects. But in the end, you give me all the graphics and prospects. I need something right now to play for my fans. You know what I'm saying?
They're rebuild. They're rebuild, though. They 2 or 3 years away.
Whatever you say, hey, in the end, Denzel Ward.
So you don't like my trade. So you don't like my trade. You would put Denzel in there.
No. I like the trade. No, me personally, hell yeah, I love the trade.
Okay.
But as you telling me as a Houston Texans, hell no. You know what I mean?
You don't think it's good for the...
I need a superstar on the roster. If you giving me Baker, that means Baker's trash. You know what I'm saying? So you just threw that in there.
Baker's from Texas. They don't believe he's trash. They don't believe he's trash.
I respect what you're saying, but you got to give me a perennial player. The same thing with Khalil Mack trade. They gave up a lot of draft picks, but they gave up a top-notch player. You know what I'm saying?
I thought it was a second and a third round pick.
And they gave up a player.
Who was the player?
I'm sorry, I'm confused. I'm thinking about my boy that went to
Russell Wilson.
Went to Denver.
Talking about the Russell Wilson trade.
My boy that went to Denver. They're talking about my boy that went to Denver. You got to give up a first round player that's actually doing something in the league. If you want to get a superstar.
All right, Sean, we hear you, bro. Thanks for the call, man.
Hey, I thank y'all letting me listen too, but let me remember. You better get on that LA round model.
All right,
Yep.
Hey, thanks for the call. Thanks for the call, bro. We appreciate it. So, hey, that was some good spirited talk. You know, I love to talk about Deshaun Watson, and I can't wait till he come home. Andrew, don't let me catch you in the city, Andrew, if you ain't got Deshaun with you.
You said come home. Wow, no. Okay, our show does not. That is a joke.
But listen.
That is a joke.
But listen here, though. We're going to wrap that up with the Browns talk right now. And we're going to get into a little bit of Cavs talk. We lost a tough one last night to the Miami Heat. And it's cool. And when I say it's cool in the sense that right now as a team, we missing Jared Allen. And it looks at this point like he's going to wind up being out for the season. I'm kind of assuming that just because. Yeah, but they were talking about him having surgery on it. Look how long Chris Paul has been out with a broken finger. Let me say this about the Cavs. So first off, if you had Karis LeVert anything coming up within the next couple of sentences that you were saying, then I'm gonna give you the floor because that is definitely where I want to go. I do.
Okay, I'm gonna let you go ahead until you get to that.
So this is what I'm saying. So the Cavs have got to where they are at this point of the season as a defensive first team. Defense ignites their offense. They were holding every team like right around 100 or under 100 points. Defense was the calling card for this team. But a lot of that is built on the fact that you have Jared Allen and Evan Mobley. A little Laurie Marketing, and, you know what I'm saying, it's other pieces. But Jared Allen was he was the anchor to our defense. And without him, I think JB is going to have to kind of reinvent the way that we play the game a little bit. And this is what I mean. You got Karis LeVert getting ready to come back from injury. And then shortly after that, you're going to have Colin Sexton come back from injury. And they don't talk about it. But when I tell you that, believe me, Colin Sexton's going to come back from injury. So now you're going to have Colin Sexton, Karis LeVert, Darius Garland, Rondo. You know what I'm saying? You're going to have some guards. And what we're going to have to do as a team is play at a fast pace. Play with pace. That's a tongue twister. Let me try it one more time. play with pace, because when you got Evan Mobley, who's now the anchor of the defense, playing the 5, he runs like a gazelle. And he can get the ball off. He can grab the ball off the rim and take it down court and set up a play, or just take it himself. So, again, we're going to have to speed the game up and become more of an offensive game, not the offensive team. Not to say that we won't play defense, because you always got to play defense, but we're going to have to rely more on our offense, which I think is going to naturally pick up because of the players we're going to have returning.
So you said a lot. So let me get my Karis LeVert part out. Okay, Karis LeVert. We traded for you. You played 1 or 2, 3 games, and then you've been hurt. Was you hurt before we traded for you? Because you just can't. I don't get what that whole thing.
They say he sprained his foot in practice.
Yeah. I don't get what all that is. But okay, but that is what it is. So
Bless you.
last week or a week ago, I told you that when I watch the Cavs games, I don't necessarily watch them because I want for them to win. I more or less watch them to develop. So right now, let me tell you what I'm seeing. And I think I told you this. I told you that they would beat the the Toronto Raptors, because they're a better team than the Toronto Raptors. Without Jared Allen, they are a better team than the Toronto Raptors, because they are a very good basketball team. But then I was naming some teams, and I said, yeah, they're not in that neighborhood. And with Miami, they're not in that neighborhood. But what that game should have shown Evan Mobley is that he is a mismatch, because what the Cavs are right now is our top scorer is Darius Garland. But when our top scorer becomes Evan, a dude that can't be stopped, because Darius Garland can be stopped. Now, you can be stopped and still score 28 points. And that's what the Cavs have been doing. Not a knock on them at all. Not a knock. It's exciting to me. It's exciting because, just like I said, when I look at the Cavs, I'm looking at them as a growing team. Because at the end of the day, when I see Darius Garland, when I see a team doubling Darius Garland, and Darius Garland, so some dudes step up, some dudes don't step up. But at the end of the day, you need a dude that once they double your one dude, the other dude is unstoppable. And we don't have that. We have a lot of dudes that are good. We don't have another dude that's unstoppable. And when we get another dude that's unstoppable, Lauri Markkanen is kind of unstoppable too. But
they're figuring it out. And
right now, when I look at them, I see them finishing solidly in that 6th position. I think these next 5 games is or 4, I think now, is going to be important, because you might not get any of these games, and I'm not including the Detroit game. I think Detroit is at the end of it, but you might not get any of these games. But if you do get one of these games, that means a lot.
And I think they can. I think they can, because, again, I think they're also it's like because of injury, the Cavs have to keep tweaking / reinventing their style of play. It is good, because that's the NBA. Like you said, people do get hurt in the NBA. But
they played a good basketball game yesterday. They
fought back.
They played a very physical, experienced basketball team, and they hung with them.
That team was in the finals 2 years ago.
But that team was better than them.
That team was in the finals 2 years ago.
Tyler Hero, oh my God.
But hey, so tonight we got the Bulls.
Yeah, you can get that one, but
and
the
Bulls. I think the Bulls are really about where we're at, to be honest with you. Like, I look at the Bulls. I think we can look the Bulls in the eye, and it's about who plays the better game. But they got us. They got a 2-game lead over us. The Bulls have a 2-game lead over the Cavs, and the Cavs have a 2-game lead over Toronto with that 6th spot. So we can't keep dropping games, because you will wind up in that play-in tournament.
Like I said, the only team that I think Atlanta is too far behind, and I think Brooklyn is too far behind.
They are both very far behind.
Like but Brooklyn, what has Brooklyn been doing when Kyrie and KD just beat the 76ers, right?
Right. But
Yeah.
but you know
that soap opera is very
that is
intriguing.
because you know the way it looks right now. If Brooklyn gets into the play-in tournament, it looks like they would be playing Toronto, and Kyrie can't play.
Wow.
That's crazy, ain't it? And then if they lose that, then they get one more game, and it'll be at home against the winner of the other one. And again,
That would be
Kyrie
so.
can't
That would
play.
be so good. It
And
would.
then
It would
Kyrie
be
can't
so
play.
good.
That's so crazy.
If they end up playing Toronto in the first series. That would be so. That would be such. That would be good. Just because it would. Just because it failed. Just because Kyrie looked back, way back when he decided to play and said, what are the chances of that? And it actually happened. So that would be good because
Hey,
I don't know.
So let me ask you a question. Who's leading the league in scoring? Who's leading the NBA in scoring?
shit at the 50 burger, probably Brian now.
Right.
Brian is chasing Kareem. Brian is checked out.
Hashtag free LBJ.
Yeah.
Free LBJ. Get him up out of LA. It's time to come home. It's feel good to be home, Brian.
Here's what
It feel good to be home.
I don't think LeBron would be. Well, I guess I'm just changing
Free
everything
LBJ.
today. So
Free LBJ.
I definitely do believe that LeBron would want to win if he played for the Cavs.
Oh, because it's like this again. He's turned into such a. I mean, he could always score, but it comes so easy. It seems pleasurable to him now. Like he scores at will now because it's just about what I'm about to do to you. You know what I'm saying? And it's like
that would be an
And to have
amazing
him-
story if Brian came back.
and just imagine
these
if the
young
Cavs
Cavs.
had that. Right, if the Cavs had that a guy that could just erupt for 40 or 50 any night. You know what I'm saying? It would be. But let me ask you just your opinion on something real quick as we start to close things down or wrap things up. What do you think about the comments that Russell Westbrook made about how he doesn't like people or making fun of his last name and calling him Westbrick, and you know how his family doesn't want to come to games anymore?
I don't even care. It's not even a story to me. I mean, so what? I don't know why it's the story. Yeah, I would hate it too. The fans gonna say, how do I feel about it? I feel that number one, I feel that fans should not have the right to be disrespectful. You should be able to boo the end or cheer. I don't think that there is no other public arena that you can dispute obscenities except for in that case, I guess in wrestling or something else. But that is being disrespectful. If you're in a restaurant, if you're at a play, if you're at if you're at the mall, you can't just be like, you SOB who messed up my order. If you did that person, okay, so let's say Russell Westbrook is performing, so he is giving you a service that you've paid for with a ticket. Okay, no different than somebody who is at a hot dog stand that's giving you a hot dog. So if that person gives me bad service and I sit up and say, you SOB son of a... I don't have the right to that because I'm paying for that hot dog.
You're paying for a hot dog. You're not paying for entertainment. And it's like when you pay for entertainment.
Okay, well, I'm
and I
paying
say-
for
and I say-
entertainment
and
if
I
I go
say-
to the movie
and if I say
theater
you're
or
doing
if I go to
terrible
a
job
play.
entertaining me, you're doing a terrible job entertaining me. I can, back in the day, what they do at plays, they would throw tomatoes, right?
That's back
what
in
I'm
the
saying?
day.
I'm
We've
just saying-
evolved.
I'm just saying, when you entertaining somebody and they don't feel that you're doing a good job, like, don't be wrong. You can't get all personal, or
So
talk
isn't
about
that a
anyone's
very
ethnicity.
blurred line if we say, well, wait a minute, he verbally assaulted? Okay, so there are some instances where we can say, wait a minute, you can't say that to that person. You can't do this. In other situations, oh man, the manager of that store said this to me. So why do we allow that language?
I'm just saying, Colin
to
Coward.
somebody who has, just let me finish, who has trained their whole life to become this. And so when they get to their pinnacle, now that gives me the right. So can you do it at a high school game? I mean, I
Yeah,
guess
you can.
Shaw versus
You
High
can.
Yeah, we did used to do that. I mean, it was fun. But at the end of
Dog,
the day,
Skip
it's not
Bayless,
right.
Skip Bayless on a national TV show will call LeBron LeBrick.
Right?
You know what I'm saying? It's entertainment. And to me, it just kind of comes with the territory. Now, it's like, don't get me wrong, you can cross the line with that. You can cross the line with certain areas of that. But if you just, to me, when you call some like LeBrick or Westbrick, you keeping it about the game. You're not really saying anything personal about them. Yet you're using their last name to make a joke about how they're shooting the ball. So that's not like really personal. I'm not saying something about your wife or about your kids or, you know what I'm saying, or insulting you because of your appearance or, you know what I'm saying? I just think that's part of the game.
Would you say it if you knew you'd run into him? Like if you were walking down the street and
No.
He's not entertaining. He's not entertaining me at that point. But
You
he's
would not.
He's not entertaining me at that point.
You would not.
I didn't pay to walk down the street and bump into him because at that point he's just another citizen. But when you pay to go into an arena,
He
you're
becomes
there
a
to-
zoo
it's just
animal.
it's not
He
that.
becomes
It's
a zoo
entertainment.
animal.
that's what
Right.
I'm saying.
It's just entertainment.
It's because of lack of repercussion. for
He
his
becomes
actions.
a zoo animal.
It's a lack of repercussion for your action. If you knew
Because
when
he's
the
still a
game could
human
get
being.
paused in the middle of the game and LeBron could walk straight up to you and say, "What'd you say about my wife?"
So let me
You
ask.
say it.
But see, that's not what I said.
But
what
the
I
reason
said
why-
is, no, listen, hold on a second. Now I'm going to address that. I said not personal stuff. What I said is when you say LeBrick or Westbrick, you messing with their last name, but it's within the context of the sport that you played in to get entertained to watch. That's not personal.
But what I'm saying is you now are becoming part of the game because now you are
You a
physically
fan. You're supposed to be the sixth man.
by
You never heard of that?
Yeah, by booing or cheering. Yes.
Oh, so you got to go. You got to go.
But we all understand there's a
Boo,
line.
hiss,
Yes.
hiss.
Yes.
As men right here,
That's what I said.
Yeah.
That's how I started this off by
But why?
saying there's
But
a
why?
line, and if you're talking about
But
the
why
game, you're
insult
talking
me
about the
though?
game.
Why insult me? Because
What's the
because
question
here,
is
let me
what's
here,
insulting you?
let me just say let me say this because going to what Sean was saying is that now you've crossed the line. You got me to a point where I
How?
want to fight.
How?
Because you're saying something personal to me.
What's personal?
You calling me LeBrick, and I'm out here trying to shoot
Nah,
jumpers. This is my money.
That's what I'm talking about.
I'm
This
talking
is
about disrespectful. Like you would not say that to my face.
But-
in context.
That I led it off by saying that.
And
I led it off by saying
disrespectful.
that.
Like
It-
we shouldn't be talking about.
and
know
you
what I'm saying?
and disrespectful is from everybody's perspective.
No,
and so
it's- no,
it is.
You got to have, but you got to.
So you can tell him what ticks him off and what doesn't. You can say, "Oh, this is right,"
Well,
but this is not wrong.
it's what should tick off a normal person. And if you can't,
And it
handle-
obviously
if you
ticked
can't- if
him
you
off
can't- if you
because
can't
he
handle
said
that,
it- he
then
said
maybe
it
he
in
needs a
camera.
new line of work. Maybe he needs to get a new line of work. Then,
Well, maybe
if you
he
can't
does.
take criticism by the fans, then maybe you don't need to cash that $40 million check, and maybe you need to get you another job where you're not out here and have to deal with public scrutiny.
Because he makes $40 million, he deserves to be heckled.
I'm saying that comes with his job. That's part of the
Because
job.
there are other
description.
jobs that get $40 million that you don't have to be heckled.
Then
So
go
why
get
does
one of
this
those jobs. Go get one of those jobs.
No,
this one,
I've
in
trained
this
for
job,
that.
you have 20,000+ people come to the arena and they gonna express themselves. And as
Yeah.
long as they're not saying anything personally insulting to you, then it's just like you gotta have some thick skin.
I'm on the other side of that. I don't think that's right. I don't think that's right. I don't.
It's been going on since the history of sports, and I'm not to say that people don't go
And
overboard sometimes.
it gives people a platform to say racist stuff, which happens way
Is
more
LeBron-
often than
is
not.
LeBron- keep it in the context of what we talking about.
You
keep it in the context of what we talking about.
You can, but when you open that door, then you open the other door too.
No, you
And-
don't.
Yes, you do.
No, you don't. So you go from LeBrick to what?
What do they go to? You know all the stuff that happened.
No, it's no. We having two different conversations. We having two different
But
conversations.
we're talking about the same group of people, though. We're talking about rabid fans with a pass to say what they want.
Some cross the line and some don't. The ones that cross the line are the ones that need to be addressed. But I don't feel, like I said, as long as you keep your insults within the context of the game. So let me ask you this then: when somebody
Because their emotion is going up too, right? Because their emotion
shooting free throws,
because the
should you
fans
just sit here and be quiet, or should you do all the stuff that you do to distract them?
you should cheer. You should you should cheer, but you shouldn't say, "Hey, your mother is such and such and such." That you should not. The thing.
You keep giving examples that don't fit into the one that I gave. Let me just put it back in context in case anybody else isn't
The only
getting
thing
what
I'm saying,
if as long as you keep it within context of the game, his mother is not part of the game. Now, if you crack on his name, like again, LeBrick, to me that's within the context of the game because you're saying you're shooting bricks.
Here's the thing, though. Just like the emotions of the players in the game, the fans get emotional also. Just like
one person's folding up a $40 million check though, and the other one ain't. The fans didn't fold up $40 million to be there.
You don't know that. So you're saying people in the front
fans
row
get
don't
paid-
make? You're saying people that sit in the front row don't make $40 million a year?
I'm saying they didn't get paid $40 million to come to that game. That's what I'm saying.
What I'm saying is though, at this particular point, you have people who are in the emotions of the game also. And you have a myriad of people from all over the country, all over the races, all over the people who could be in the KKK, who could be in BLM, who could be in HBCU, who could be in PDW. They can have whoever they are. You have them sitting there too. And their emotions are getting hyped also. And so when their emotions, just like the players get in that, then you have that. If the line is all the way back here, then you have a less of a chance of somebody getting up here saying something racist. But when the line is right
Why
here,
are you talking about racist stuff? Because that's not you keep
you don't
taking
understand
it.
you don't understand how I just brought in racist as far as saying that this part is saying something
But
racist.
that's not what we
but
was talking about.
But if you are allowing somebody to
You're
say
making
something
examples
foul
that don't
anyway,
fit. You're using examples that don't fit into the box that we were talking about.
But I just explained it though.
So you're changing the topic.
No, what I'm saying is if you have a person who feels a certain way, is a racist person, who is in the emotion of the game, and you're allowing them a certain point to say, hey, you can be free and heckle this person to a point. But now you have a person of a certain ilk who's drinking, who has money on the game and gambling, or whoever his situation is, he's going in the emotion of the game too. So when he gets that free pass to say something to LeBron, and he already is that type of person, you can't filter what comes out of his mouth. And so what I'm saying is, I don't think it's right. I don't think that because I get paid $40 million, I'm subjected to a myriad of people that are walking around, that are sitting around me and being free to say whatever they are. I don't think that's right. Whatever they want. I don't think that's right.
And you think what I said is I think that is right.
I do think that's what you're saying. Yes.
Okay, well, you didn't understand me then. You didn't understand me.
Okay.
You like I said, you totally took everything I said out of context. And in fact, and even though I prefaced it by saying I'm not saying that you could be disrespectful or say personal things. So, okay. Hey, we'll move on, though. We'll move on. You know what I'm saying? We can agree to disagree on that. And at the end of the day, we still talking sports. And with that, we have wrapped up our time for this Saturday.
Wow, that was a quick show.
It was. NFL dominated it. But, hey, we'll see you back here next Saturday, 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And guess what we going to do?
We talking sports.